All right, hi, good afternoon. Just like to say good afternoon to all our fellow plumbers listening in today. And I'd just like to start off by thanking the Institute of Plumbing for giving us this opportunity to share with you regarding our recycling water product, which doesn't only save water, but also enhances the performance and the professionalism of your plumbing teams. Instantly putting you into a water saving bracket, which brings great customer satisfaction and long-term water security for the future. Our government has deemed us plumbers as essential service providers, which proves that our trade is very important, part of our success, of our survival through this very difficult time which we're going through. Water shortage is on the rise, and it's time for plumbing professionals to start making an effort to save where we can, as we are forced to discharge large volumes of water daily during our working day, which is unavoidable, such as testing products, etc. So we've created a tool which has proven itself over the last 3 years to have saved millions of liters of water, is durable, and is very easy to use. I would also like to thank over 600 plumbers in South Africa that are already using the product, some for over 3 years already. And our Wattapac product is also going to the testing process in Australia at the moment, and it's looking pretty promising. So guys, where did this all start? Or how did it come about? I pretty much just was thinking about water saving during the water crisis in Cape Town, where we were legitimately running out of water, and just came up with a concept that I thought, well, let me just give this a bash, and see how it goes. We don't do a lot of hot water cylinders, but we're doing about maybe 5 a week or so. And you guys know what it's like when you work on a hot water cylinder. You're draining the cylinder, you're throwing the water away, and it takes long. Sometimes you're draining that cylinder twice because there's a glitch, there's a leak on the drain cock or whatever, and before you've known it, you've thrown 400 liters of water away. So I came up with a concept of quickly draining a geyser into a bladder, and I kind of put it together, and I gave it a little test run in my office, and I thought, wow, geez, this actually works quite well. Let me see, if I can get any other plumbers to use it. So I took a big chance, and I went to a plumber in Cape Town. His name's Gavin Long. He runs a plumbing business called South Peninsula Plumbing, and he's not a man to mince his words. And I thought, wow, okay, let me give it to him and see what he thinks, So I handed him the pack, and he took it off. So Gavin basically does hot water cylinder installations for Foggy, etc. And they ran 6 teams, and they were doing hundreds of geysers in a month. And I gave him one set. He went off and used it, and I had a lot of fear at that time, thinking, geez, this guy's going to bring this back and throw it at me, or verbally abuse me in some way. And he came back and said, geez, Charlie, this is actually really cool, let me take a couple more. So he took a couple of packs off me, and his guys started using it daily and started saving water. After that, we made a little video. We put it on the social media platform, and soon after that, I got a call from the city of Cape Town saying, hey, we'd like to see this thing. So I took it off to them. It went through a little process of testing, etc. And before I knew it, I was being invited to various different water shows around South Africa, Plum Drain Conference, etc., etc. And yeah, like I said, lots of the various different water saving technologies, seminars that were out there. So the reasons to use the system would be, number one, of course, to save water, and like I said, we're draining geysers very quickly, so we're saving large volumes of water. But at the same time, what we're doing is we're making it easy for the plumber, and we're doing it quickly. When you come up to a system like an Aqualock water meter in Cape Town, you want to change a lady's element. She's only got 100 liters left on a water meter. Now you've got to throw the water away. to put the new element in, and you can't finish the job because she's only got 30 liters left. With our product, we're solving that problem because we're not throwing the water away. We're simply recycling it back into the hot water cylinder. And like I said, it takes about 7 minutes to drain a 200-liter geyser if you're doing it in the right manner. The other perks of our product are that we're putting hot water back into hot water cylinders. So you can pump the hot water cylinder out, put it in the bladder, put your element, put your new geyser in, and the hot water that's in the bladder simply goes back into the geyser, which is really great, you know, for the clientele. It's energy saving, water saving, and time saving. If we go to the success rate of the product, I'd like to say that the success rate has been really good. If you're having a look at the picture on your screen at the moment, that's 40 bottles of 5 liters of water, which you would generally dump when you're replacing a hot water cylinder. It's quite a scary factor when you put it into that kind of concept with all the bottles, because that's legitimately what you're throwing away. Processed water that's been through a plant, it's been paid for, it's been heated, and we're simply dumping it. Yeah, so the success rate of our product has been good. We've only had positive feedback, and we've like I said, we've won an award. We won Product of the Year award for the innovation, it's looking good. These are our heavier bladders. So we're making a 500 liter heavy duty bladder, which is a slightly thicker bladder. The Quick-Got crews are using these bladders quite a bit. They're basically draining smaller boilers with them. Then we make the 5,000 liter bladder, which is for a much bigger boiler, obviously in hotels, etc. So you can legitimately go and drain a boiler, do your maintenance or whatever you need to do on the boiler, and then you can return the water to the boiler. We've had quite a few pool companies buying our bladders because they prefer the quality of our bladder to some of the other bladders. This is just a little video. It takes some time, so I'm not going to show the whole video, but a 5,000 liter bladder fits into a little PVC carry box. Here's a picture of us winning an award at the IOPSA Awards, which is great. And strangely enough, the plumber who won Plumber of the Year from Rapid Plumbing, Dion Nell, is already using our product. So I actually handed him a product at the awards, but he had already been using it. So it's great. So we've got plumbers all over South Africa using our product. Like I said, over 600 plumbers, and all the way, even in Kroonstad, we've got a plumber there using our product. And I believe Kroonstad is a village in South Africa somewhere. But even a little place like Kroonstad, we've got plumbers using the product. So I'd like to just show you a little video of the actual use of the product. And we'll just take you through it quickly, and then here's some more pictures. Guys filling the bladders up to absolute max. You can see it takes extreme pressure. So we pressure test the bladder to 6 bar. It takes 80 degrees Celsius. That is a 200 liter bladder, but you can comfortably fit 250 liters of water in it. I'm still using the same bladders 3 years later. And I've had absolutely zero complaints about the bladders or plumbers returning the bladders or anything to that effect. Quick-Got saw our product and decided, wait, we need to look at this, because obviously we're working on a lot of geysers daily and we need to support water conservation, so that the Quick-Got South Africa are using our bladders, our concept nationally, including One Assist Insurance and various different other insurance companies. Their plumbers are using the product because it just makes it much quicker, and it just basically saves the water and makes it easier for the plumber. Lots of testimonials have come in over the years. This is a testimonial from Paul from Quick-Got, just basically saying that all his plumbers are working with it. Local plumbers in Cape Town. So we've got lots of testimonials. So we've got a lot of confidence in the product. And yeah, we'd love it if more guys could do this. Of course, in absolute volume, we could be saving millions and millions of liters of water, which we've done already. But we really need more guys to step up to the platform of becoming conscientious and understanding that water is the main catalyst of our industry. And without the water, we don't have work and we don't have life. And we've got to think about the future. Yeah, so I'm going to get to the, just so you know that once you use the product or once you bought the product, it doesn't just end there. Of course, we're supporting the plumbers that are using the product, and we've got endorsements for plumbers that are using the product. So the City of Cape Town are running our social media platform at the moment, and they endorse the plumbers that are doing it, and your business information can come up onto our Wattapac social media platform where we talk about your company, and you can go onto that platform whenever you want and send pictures and not only talk about what you're doing with our product, but also what you're doing in your business. So yeah, we're trying to make things a little bit better for the guys out there that are using the product. So yeah, we're doing a bit, we're giving a bit back as well, you know. Let's go to the, okay, so I'd like to just show you the demo quickly. It doesn't take too long, and this is just a little demo. Basically, if that was a hot water cylinder in a roof, you can see how simple this is. The draining process of a hot water cylinder doesn't change much at all. We're not draining it into the drip tray anymore, where we're just sucking it through a hose pipe very quickly through a little pump. The bladder doesn't go in the roof. It goes downstairs and in the bathroom or in the passage, or you could even take your overflow pipe out your hose pipe out the overflow pipe in the roof and do it out in the garden. Let me just play it quickly. Did you know when your 200-liter geyser requires replacement or maintenance, such as an element replacement, you're discarding the equivalent of 40 bottles of 5 liters of water and draining a water source of another 40 bottles of water to replace the discarded water, effectively moving 400 liters of water. As there is no accurate way of telling exactly how many hot water cylinders and elements are replaced annually, one can only imagine how much water we are discarding. Water scarcity is on the rise globally, so the need to adapt to a water-savvy lifestyle is more important than ever before. As plumbers, we are forced to discard water on a daily basis by testing products and carrying out basic maintenance, which cannot be avoided. It is the ethical duty of a plumber to save water where we can, as water is the catalyst of our industry. No water, no work. As prevention is better than cure, we have developed an amazing plumbing tool to assist and prevent the unnecessary waste of hundreds of millions of liters of water when carrying out hot water cylinder replacements, maintenance, and making hot cylinder installations SANS compliant. Guys, hot water cylinders can be anywhere, so we're just simulating a hot water cylinder that might be in a roof. You can simply roll this out like a yoga mat down below in the passage or bathroom. A lot of guys are doing this outside. They're taking the overflow of the geyser, and they're just putting their hose pipe through the overflow and taking it outside, their drainage hose pipe. So then what we do next is we're going to take our clear hose and we're going to connect that to, and we're going to connect the opposite side of the hose to the output of the pump, and we're going to take the hose which goes up to your hot water cylinder, and we're going to connect that to the suction side of the pump. If you do not have a gardenia drain cock, then you're going to take a piece of copper pipe like this, which gets sleeved into your hose pipe. We'll leave the vacuum breakers on, turn the water off, simply remove the cold supply going into the drain cock. It will create a negative vacuum, so spillage is minimal. The copper pipe will then get placed into the drain cock and tightened up. Once you've done that, you're going to take the hot water vacuum breaker off, and the siphonic process will happen naturally through the pump into the bladder. So once the copper pipe is inserted into the drain cock, we simply remove the vacuum breaker, and siphonic action will immediately take place, and water will drain into the bladder in about 7 minutes through the pump. And the water should naturally start flowing through the system. Here we've got the water coming through the clear hose, which is a protective measure so that we don't put dirt in the bladder. Or if you're doing an element change, once you see the brown water coming, you simply stop the process and you can discard the brown water. If you're doing a geyser change, the minute you see the hot water, the dirty water, you simply discard, stop the process and discard the dirty water. Then you turn it on, and this process should take 7 minutes. The turnaround time for the plumber is exceptional, as hot water cylinders can be drained in around 7 minutes and returned to the cylinder in 7 minutes. The old drainage method, through siphonic action, can take up to half an hour. Right, guys, we've now drained the hot water cylinder into the bladder, so we're going to turn off the pump. We're going to shut the lever valves. Now, we've drained hot water into the bladder, so obviously there's going to be a little bit of steam. So to relieve the steam because of expansion, we're just going to remove this nozzle. When we're working in someone's home, we're obviously going to work on a small little drip tray just to prevent a little bit of spillage. However, spillage is minimal. To return the process is very simple, guys. Now we're going to take the suction side of the pump, which is obviously always the bottom side of the pump, and we're going to remove the top pipe, plug it to the bottom. We're then going to plug back onto the bladder, because we're turning the water back to the geyser once maintenance or replacement has been done. The hose pipe will go to the geyser, which is obviously going to go onto the return side of the pump, which is the top, and we're going to turn the pump on, and we're going to slowly open the valve. Right, we've got hot water now being returned to the hot water cylinder. This process will take about 7 minutes. Make sure that your hot water vacuum breaker is off, or that a hot water tap is open to blow the air out of the geyser. Let's not forget that the clear pipe between the pump and the bladder is to determine the depth of the geyser. So once you see brown water coming through, you can stop the process so that we don't put brown water into the bladder, and we can simply discard the brown water once the process is complete. Not only are we saving water, but we are also saving energy, as we are putting hot water back into new hot water cylinders. Right, guys, as the bladder drains, obviously it's getting flatter and flatter. So we need to keep the water in the corner where the drainage side is, so that we don't suck onto the bottom of the bladder. So by doing that, we simply just lift the bladder up, tilt the water to the corner, and we wait for the rest of the bladder to drain. So I'm proud to say that this is a locally manufactured product. We're using a specialized rubber product which is heat resistant. We pressure test our packs to 6 bar, and they take 80 degrees Celsius. So guys, we have now successfully drained the water from the bladder back into the hot water cylinder. Obviously, instantly I've closed the pipe coming from the geyser to the pump so that there's no back siphonage taking place. You're then going to go back up to the hot water cylinder. You're going to close your drain cock. You're going to install the vacuum breakers. And you're going to turn the water back on to the hot water cylinder. And that's the process complete. Now, we've basically just taken 200 liters of water from a hot water cylinder. We've drained it into our bladder, and we've saved another 200 liters by putting the same water back in, which you would have naturally have drawn from the source. With just over 200 plumbers using this product since December, we've saved 2 million liters of water. So, guys, if you practice this once or twice, the method's very simple. It's quick and effective, and of course, massive water saving. And you'll never want to drain a hot water cylinder in any other manner once you've done this. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoy what you're doing and saving water. Thank you. Yeah, so guys, as you can see, it's an extremely simple system to use. Basically, you get a carry bag for the bladder, which comes with the bladder, all the fittings that you need, the clear pipe between the pump and the bladder. Then you get a second little carry bag, which is for the pump. And this stuff does not take up a lot of space in your van or your back of your bakkie. Some plumbers carry more than one set in their van, and like I said, it's really durable. So, you know, there are a couple of questions that we get asked. The most frequent questions that we get asked about the product is how durable is the product? Well, I can tell you that the product is extremely durable. And of course, when we first developed it, we were uncertain of what would really happen. But plumbers that use the system daily, we've had absolutely no complaints from. So I can phone a plumber today who's been using the product for 3 years and say, how are you guys going? Do you need new bladders? No, thank you. They're all fine. And, you know, so we're very confident with the product being durable. The second question that we sometimes get is, how long does it take to set up? So when you initially buy the product, obviously everything's disconnected. You would then open it up, put everything together. So you'd put your fittings onto the pump. That would just stay on the pump. You'd put your fitting onto the bladder. That would then just stay on the bladders. So when you arrive at your house, just like you would do, you would put your ladder up, you'd climb up into the roof, and you'd say, "Oh, sorry, ma'am, your geyser's burst. We need to replace it." It takes minutes to set the product up. Literally take the bladder out the bag, roll it out like a mat, take your hose pipe up to the roof, connect on. It doesn't change the time factor at all. It just saves time. The next question that people do ask us quite a bit, yeah, but what about the dirty water? And we don't want to put the dirty water back in the geyser. And we actually had a plumber phone in on one of our talk shows on Cape Talk and said, no, we can't do that because you're putting the dirty water back in the geyser, but they clearly didn't watch the video because we have a measure for that. So when you see the dirty water coming through the clear hose, you simply turn off and you're low enough to change an element. Or like I said, you can discard the dirty water if you're changing a geyser. We've got plumbers up the West Coast that have very hard water, so they've got a lot of sediment in their water. And we've got a couple of plumbers up there. The one plumber just incorporated a filter, which is basically connected onto the bladder itself, which works very well. So it's taking all the like white calc type looking sediment out of the water. So there is a solution for dirty water. Obviously, you're going to use your discretion. If you're going to get to a geyser and the anode hasn't been changed for 10 years and the water is completely rusty and red, you're not going to save that water. So you're going to use your discretion to which water you want to save or not. But most of the water is savable. Another question we sometimes get is, what about the maintenance? So there is a little bit of maintenance required on the system. When we took it through the health and safety section of our testing, you know, they asked us about the bladders and the water getting left in the bladder. So, you know, they've asked us to clean the bladder out every second week or so, or once a month or whatever, with a little Milton solution. You just put it in a bucket, pump it into the bladder, shake it around, and pump it out again, and it cleans the bladder out. I have opened up bladders after about a year, and I've got to say there's almost nothing inside them. So we're not too worried about that. And coming to the pumps, the guys that use the system daily, we don't hear from at all because the pump is working every day. So it's not standing still at any point and getting a little bit of corrosion taking place. But if you read in the pump manual itself, it tells you that the pump is a low-powered pump. And if it's not used after a couple of days or a week or so, it might get a little jammy. But they've actually got a little hole in the cage at the back of the pump itself, which you can put a flat screwdriver through. You simply turn the impeller manually and your pump will start working again. But you got to check to see if your pump is working before you walk away. You know, this isn't something you can really walk away from anyway because it's just too quick. But I can say that I think in the 3 years that I've been doing this, I've had one pump legitimately break properly. That's because they didn't check the impeller and the capacitor burnt out, and we simply replaced the capacitor and the pump was fine again. So the pumps are bulletproof. The next question that we get sometimes is, what is the cost of the product? So at the moment, the whole entire product, including the bladders, the fittings, and the pump, is 2,500 Rand, including VAT. So we're trying to keep this product as reasonably priced as possible so that it doesn't become a financial burden, and so that the plumber who maybe isn't doing that well can still purchase the product and save the water. This is really about water saving, guys, and we've really got to take our water seriously as plumbers. It's not a joke that we just think that there's going to be water tomorrow or the next day or in a couple of years' time. We just have absolutely no idea on that. And that's basically the end of the show, should I say. And if there's any questions or anything that anyone would like to ask me, I'm available to answer them.
Thank you very much for that, Charles. There are a few questions for the session, so I'm going to go ahead. The first question is, with the old fully brushed drain cocks without the plastic hose adapters, what other way can we connect the Wattapac to it? Because the hose pipe and the drain cock outlet is the same size.
I'm not really understanding the question. I'll tell you now that 90% of the plumbers aren't connecting onto the Gardena connection of the drain cock. They're using the copper pipe system, so they're taking the 3/4 inch copper pipe, making a 90-degree bend in it. You put your nut on and you put your cone on, but you put the cone on quite shallow so that it can fit into any drain cock. Most of the guys are draining directly off the drain cock. Worst case scenario, you can also pull the cold water supply down. So you basically just pull on the cold supply, and you can connect onto where the vacuum breaker goes. Next question.
Okay, perfect. The next question is, now if a geyser's thermostat breaks in an open position casting the water to boil and pop the TP valve, that water is 90 plus, so the bladder won't handle that temperature. Then do you wait for it to cool, or do you waste the water?
Well, yeah, look, I mean, you've got to use your discretion to what kind of temperature water you're putting in there. But I can tell you now that even though we're testing to 60 degrees, we've got guys who doing solar installations that are draining solar geysers straight into the bladders, and I haven't had a single call from anybody telling me that the bladders have melted or something to that effect. But if you can see that the water is absolutely boiling hot, you've got to use your discretion in that situation. If it can cool down, most geysers, when you get to them, are fairly cool when you drain them. Of course, every now and then you get to one that is very hot. But like I said, I've been using the same bladders for 3 years now, and I haven't had any problems. I haven't had my plumbers phoning me telling me, no, we can't do this because the water's too hot. So we haven't really come across that problem yet. Next question.
The next question is about the warranty of the product. What is the warranty, and where is the product available?
Yeah, so when we initially manufactured the product, we were uncertain, really, about the durability, although we had been using it for some time ourselves. And Gavin Long, we put a 6-month warranty on the bladders, and a 6-month warranty on the pump itself. Like I said, I haven't replaced anything under warranty at this point. But yeah, I think that, the product will last longer than a year. Of course, if there is an issue with the product or bladder, we'll happily replace anything. We've got stock. The stock is available from us directly from Wattapac. All our contact numbers are there with our website, etc. So yeah, we have plumbers phoning us daily asking us about the product and how they can get their hands on it. Obviously, we manufacturing in Cape Town, and it is about the availability of the stock, but we've always generally got stock available. Next question.
Okay. The next question is, can you buy the bladder alone without the pump and the fittings?
We don't generally just sell the small bladders on their own. We sell spare bladders to plumbers who have already bought the concept. All right. So sometimes I could have a plumber come in, Johnny Walker plumber, for argument's sake, came in and said no, he wants to take three sets, but he wants to take three spare bladders. So if you get to a 400-liter system, then you can just clip off the one bladder and then plug onto the next bladder. So you can buy spare bladders, uh, even if you buy one kit. We don't just sell the regular 200-liter bladders on their own to plumbers who haven't bought the kit because we're uncertain to what kind of pump or whatever they're going to use. We want them to be using our pump system to cover the warranty. The bigger bladders, however, the 500-liter bladders and up, we sell without the pump. So you can buy the bigger bladders on their own.
Okay, the next question is, are you able to use these bladders in informal settlements as a replacement for a generic HWC?
No. Next question.
Okay, the next question is, the 2,500 Rand package, how big is the bladder?
And I think that's, is that the 200-liter? That's a 200-liter. The bladders, like I said, it's the size of a yoga mat. It's not very big at all. It rolls up, it's about 1.2 meters long and maybe about 600 wide. Next question.
And then how many bar is the pump?
The pump can pump up to 20 meters. So if we're working in a regular home, you can put the bladder outside in the garden and you can successfully pump it into the roof. If you're working in a double-story building, then we prefer to take it to the first floor. But we're successfully pumping 20 meters, no problem, in height.
Okay, thank you for that, Charles. I believe that's it for the questions. There is a lot of positive feedback from the audience, so I'd just like to read that out quickly. So one of them is impressed, excellent work. Thank you for the information. We'll sure get one for my company. And along with other positive feedback, not a question, just a compliment. I'm truly impressed with this innovation. Well done, guys.
Yeah, and we'd just like to thank you all for... Yes.
Sorry, Charles and Karim. Just one question from my side. What has the feedback been from the clients that have called the plumber in terms of the guys that have used this product, Charles? How have they been in terms of this innovation?
Yeah, I mean, we've had amazing feedback from clientele. I mean, when they arrive at their house and you show them what you're doing, or they ask you what you're doing here, you say, no, well, we're saving your water, man. And they're like, it's amazing how many people have become water conscious, especially in Cape Town. Even though our restrictions have been lifted a little bit, you still go into people's homes and they've got buckets in their showers and things like that. So we get incredible feedback from clientele, and I get phone calls from plumbers every week saying, gee whiz, our clients were like so amazed at like what we're doing here, that we're actually saving the water. And we're getting incredible feedback. So we're very happy, about the feedback that we're getting, and the absolutely zero negative feedback, which is fantastic. Just makes your team look more professional, makes it look like we actually care about, what we're doing. And we know how important the water is and how scarce it's becoming. And, coronavirus is a terrible thing, and it's hit our entire planet. And water shortage, I think would probably create even more chaos. So we really got to try and do our best to save where we can. And I know it's a little bit like, we're throwing a drop in the ocean, but every single little drop counts. And in large volumes, I mean, we've got maybe 700 or 800 plumbers up to date, as far as I know. There's still thousands of plumbers in South Africa that aren't using the product at all, and some of them even have quite negative kind of mentality to it, like, well, it's just the water, or it's not their water, or it's really, plumbers who have a mentality like that really shouldn't be in our industry, because, when we had a water shortage in Cape Town, we just about watched the plumbing shops closing down because nobody could work. So, yeah, positive feedback from everybody. Thanks, Steve.
Okay, we do have another question and also a statement. We have been using the Wattapac for a while, and clients get very impressed when we have a solution to save water. It also makes our job easier and quicker. The question is, can the product be repaired if it does get punctured?
Yes, it can be repaired. It's PVC, so one could use a rubber duck type patch on it. I haven't had to repair any at this stage, but it is repairable. However, we are selling the bladders, the spare bladders, to the plumbers that have bought the packs already at such a reasonable price. They're 480 Rand, including that. To buy a spare bladder is a simple thing. It's not a financial burden, and it just makes more sense. If you need to, you can just buy a new one from us. But like I said, I haven't had anybody sending their bladders back to me telling me that there's problems on them. We have got a swivel elbow on the top of the bladder, so that the elbow can actually almost turn in any direction, just from a convenience point of view of where you might need to put the pump or whatever. Then in time, we started getting a little bit of water coming out of that swivel elbow, which we thought, okay, well, we got a little problem. So we started glue connecting the elbow so it wouldn't turn. Then the guy started moaning, no, it's not turning. So we simply solved that little bit of problem there on the swivel elbow by putting a cable tie on it. And yeah, the swivel elbow is definitely the most convenient way of using the product. So we're going to keep the swivel elbow. And we just suggest if you want to put a cable tie around that blue rubber nozzle that comes out, you can. No problem. Anything else?
We just received a question with regards to transportation to Gauteng.
How so to get...
Yes, so does the price include...
Oh, well, we courier stuff to Joburg regularly, so... sometimes what we do is we pop a whole lot of Wattapacks into a quick hot truck, which have been very kind enough to let us do that from time to time. Otherwise, we courier the product directly to your office. Obviously, there's a little bit of an extra charge involved in that, but it's not much. But we can get the product to you in 2 or 3 days. We've sent them all over South Africa, all over, even Namibia.
Okay, perfect. And then just one last statement from the audience. DJS Plumbers Pty Ltd will be buying for every team here in Gauteng.
Oh, that's fantastic. And, no, we appreciate that. Thank you very much, guys. We really appreciate, that plumbers out there have got the correct mentality. Like I said, unfortunately, there are a couple of guys, but we're working on them, and I know we'll turn them because I think the product's 3 years old now, guys, and it's still a new product, and it takes time for people to feel confident about something. They want to see it being used a bit. But we got amazing references, from serious businesses, big companies, Quickcot, the Plum Guarantees, the guys that have been using this product for years, only positive feedback, and it's really great to hear that the guys are interested, because in time, I think in the next 2 to 3 years, I think like what's happening in Cape Town sometimes, I've had plumbers phoning me almost like angry. Oh yeah, we arrived at our client's house and they wanted to chase us away because we didn't have your product, because we are getting exposure. We've been on the TV, we've been in Cape Talk, we've been in the newspapers, we've been in the Plum Drain magazine, or Plumbing for Africa magazine 4 or 5 times. In fact, they're going to do another talk on our product quite soon in the Plumbing for Africa magazine, which is great, and they're offering us the stuff for free. So, yeah, we're getting a lot of exposure, and I think in time, discarding the water will become a thing of the past, because just like every tool gets developed, grinders for grinding, drills for drilling, the Wattapac product is for draining hot water cylinders. It's a tool. It's a tool that I think is going to become a necessity in the future. And if plumbers haven't got it or won't do it, then they shouldn't be draining geysers.
Okay, and I just want to mention we've been receiving a lot of positive feedback. I see the audience is quite impressed with the product. There is another question. Will you be supplying it to Plumlinks?
Yeah, so we've had some interest from suppliers all over South Africa, in fact, and we have got some guys selling the product. What we're really trying to do, guys, is keep the price down, and the minute you got a middleman, the price goes up a little bit. We're obviously interested in business, but we're also interested in this being affordable. So, I'm tired of listening to too many plumbers having issues making money when we're actually part of the emergency services. We should never have cash flow issues, but there are a lot of plumbers out there that are struggling financially, not because they're bad plumbers, but because they got bad payers. And that's something that I'd love to see end. I mean, really, it's like, through this time of coronavirus and this lockdown, I'm getting direct payments before I even send my teams out. So I don't even know why that has to change personally, but we're trying to keep the product as reasonably priced as possible so that it's affordable for the guy who runs the smaller business, and it doesn't become a financial burden.
Okay, thank you very much, Charles. I guess that's it for the questions. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we end off, Steve, from your side as well?
Yeah, I'd just like to say good luck to all the families out there and the plumbers out there in this terrible time that we're going through. And, I know that we're going to all come through this. And, just stay safe and look after your families and don't get too bored. I think I'm on my 5th game of garden cricket in the last week. My lawn's looking shattered, but we're trying to keep ourselves busy. And good luck, man. And we'll hopefully see some orders coming in at some point. And once the economy is back up and running, and let's save hundreds of thousands of millions of liters of water. Thank you very much for having me, and stay safe.
Karim, just to close off, Charles, from IOPSA side, and to all of you that have attended today, thank you very much for taking the time out to come and have a look. Charles, certainly, I've been involved with you for quite a while, and in terms of getting this, so well done in terms of your first presentation. I know how putting these things together can be quite challenging in terms of delivering, but certainly thank you very much, for the short notice and putting this together for us. And to all of you ladies and gents that have attended this afternoon, my sentiments of Charles, let's keep safe, keep looking at the website in terms of changes that are coming through with other innovative products that we've identified. And to Karim and the team, thank you very much for today. Thank you very much.